what you want? Like...
Take that! Objection!
What do you mean? I'm not going to be using the guide anymore because all I really needed the guide for was for the investigation, because the investigations take forever if you don't know what you're doing. You could literally get lost for an entire hour if you don't know what you're doing, and I don't like that in a game, so I'm using a guide. I don't care. But for this, we're good. I can just actually figure out what to do here. I don't need a guide for this. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? Where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Malice Edgeworth. Knowing you've already figured it out. The owner of the 777 Summer Road. It's Gant, yeah. Looks like I'm not the only one who figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for a doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lena's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. But it's not the past, Miles. It's literally connected to this. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. Oi, oi. See you in court. Alright, guys. Let's get this done. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. Let's get this done. February 25th, 10 a.m., Chief District Court Room number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Ema Skye. Normally this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement, but before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant. This dude's pectorals are so ripped, it's busting out of his suit coat. Morning, how's everyone doing? Hey, OG, been back to the pool yet? Joining myself to work, blah blah. You don't mind me asking, Chief, what exactly is this proposal? My ambient visuals right now is Stranger Things Season 1, by the way. I'm watching Season 4 right now, and I'm just deciding to just have Season 1 playing in the background, just so I can remember things. That has nothing to do with this, but I just feel like mentioning it, because like in 5 years or something, when I'm rewatching this video, I'll be like, hey, I was watching Stranger Things while I was recording this video. Anyways, having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. Lana. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. That's not very simple, Lana. I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman. You're just gonna take the fall, Lana, just because you're following orders? Are you, like, dumb? I mean, I know you know, she's protecting her sister. She's protecting her sister. Take it out. She's not dumb. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now. Yo, Emma, can you talk some sense into your sister? Her request is legally valid, though this is an unprecedented situation. It feels there's no need to continue. Yo, Emma. Even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise, we can't continue. The court finds the defendant.
Objection!
There we go. One moment, Your Honor. Thank you, Edgeworth. The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature, and There we go, that's my boy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but wouldn't you just be a good little boy and keep it? Don't tell him what to do, bro. That's Miles Edgeworth, bro. You can't tell him what to do. I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you thought you would have. What? Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal. Not everyone operates as you do, Willie. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh? To who? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Ema Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Alright, very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, Chief Gant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Ema Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Yo, I love Edgeworth, dude. How do you have someone who's like literally opposing you, but still at the same time help you? But at the same time has the same goals as you do? But he's literally opposing you, but he's still, I mean, you both want justice. Edgeworth is such a cool character. My name is Ema Skye. I am a little sister and I want to be a scientific investigator. You encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings, is this correct? Yes, I'm trying my hardest to forget about that though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. He sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. There we go. There we go. It's bound to lead to the truth. Let's get it. 2 years ago. I was waiting in my sister's office, a man came running in. The marshal rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. Alright. Passed out, didn't remember much. Dude, we have so much. Wait, hold on, wait. Let me save that comment for another time. What does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Alright, let's cross-examine. 2 years ago. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes, she was second in command under the deputy chief of police, Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever, blah blah blah. I remember Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. That's right, I'd always sit at my sister's desk. And dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play that day too. The police department and the prosecutor's office had a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner if she finished her work. A man came running in and took me hostage. A man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, correct? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Skye and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. Neil Marshall was there. What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were 2 people present doing Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was his dad. That's when Marshall came in. I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark just then the lights went out. It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck. Wait a minute, if it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right. But just then, lightning flashed again outside. Then that sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. Okay. She told Goodman. Hear more. So you spoke with Goodman about this. That's what's so scary about this trial. You told Goodman what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. Yeah, we saw that picture. Ask about the picture. I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added a statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. How do you picture that scene once we see something else? You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right? Yes, I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now whenever I close my eyes. That's strange. I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken. Stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. That must have been a real shock. Even though when I close my eyes I can see it just as clearly. What were you doing in that moment? Alright. Here. It is this thing, right? There it is. Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as a prosecutor of this case, I wasn't handed the picture. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! So this is the evidence list for the SL9 incident? Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it... Oh, what's this? It's a picture! You're pretty good at drawing silhouettes. Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Indeed. Two men appear to be wrestling here. I don't know if that's wrestling. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here, they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case has ever reached you. What? Miss Skye, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor? If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. That's quite conceivable. It's possible to see... You even have to ask. Sorry, Your Honor. There's indeed something drawn on the back of the list. It's that thing. Oh my god. I thought I escaped you. I thought we were done with this, Blue Badger. It's that thing! That thing dancing in the evidence room. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about the picture you drew 2 years ago? She seems to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Here we go. This is a picture I drew 2 years ago. Yeah, that thing. So bright, all I could see was shadows. I fainted after that, so it's exactly what I saw. That's it. I mean, I'm not complaining. Alright, here we go. I don't know what we could do with that. This is a picture I drew 2 years ago. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Ema Skye and Ema Skye. Memory should have still been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. Can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? It's because of she only saw the shadows. The flash of lightning was so bright all I could see were shadows. So at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue? No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright and I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor? You know, tight grip, blah blah. And that's when the lightning flashed. Well, I'm glad she wasn't hurt. After that, I must have fainted. You didn't see the actual murder take place? No, I'm sorry. The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? I'm not the bad guy here. Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Oh. And yet... Wait, hold on. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course, this is the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives. Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. We better watch out. He might find a way to cut my salary. Mr. Wright, is there something bothering you about this picture? She claims this is exactly the scene that was in her mind, and yet there's clearly a contradiction. Is there? What's the contradiction? What's the contradiction? There we go. Because he was stabbed in the front, right? But he was stabbed in the back. This picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction, because he was stabbed in the back. But the picture makes it look like he was stabbed in the front. I still remember it like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. Is it it's because he was... I don't know, man, like... Is it this? I don't know what to point at. Is it this? The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. It's a square. See the murder weapon? The tip is broken too. The tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple.
Objection!
Where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken.
Objection!
What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Objection! Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found in the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right, what does this mean? Oh my god, it's just objection, objection, objection. The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is that the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Oh my god, we went back and forth. There's another explanation. Have you forgotten already about a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Yeah. Order! Order, order. Are you saying that the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. Alright. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During the questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. I keep thinking it says Drake. It is my belief that somewhere in the story there was a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? There is another one. If the witness is adamant about the accuracy that she saw, Mr. Wright. Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife. Feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Oh, I didn't. Oh. Here's the real murder weapon. This thing, right? The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Yeah, it was that spear thing I was talking about. It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Marshall is holding. That's the broken... that's kind of what I wanted to do. I just didn't know I had to use the picture, not the trophy. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was from this award. Order, order! Neil Marshall was awarded that King of Prosecutors that day. He was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. I didn't even know you could take that out. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this situation. Then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. This man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. The prosecutor was the one who died, yeah, we know. It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Hold it. Wait. I remember now. I remember everything. Could you show me your evidence list again, please? This list. What does this have to do with? I knew it. I'm the one who drew it. I'm gonna go insane if I hear this song again. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside of me. It'd be best if we added this to the witness testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Skye? First, the knife mix-up, now the blue badger. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. But I'm sure I saw his shadow. What does that mean?
Objection!
The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. He didn't even exist 2 years ago. Stop, please don't pursue this any further. Whoa, where'd you come from? She's getting nervous. We're getting close. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. Yeah, if she's getting nervous, we're getting close. Where's someone there's his knife? Oh. It's begun. Yes, at least I think it was him. You think? He doesn't know it's dark. She said it was dark. Oh, she could see her shadows. Power outage that immediately preceded the incident. It also documented in the okay. I panicked and rushed toward both of them. Oh. Shoulder hurts. What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was I've got to help that other person. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. What do you mean you think? It happened so fast, I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did is all kind of a blur. Miss Skye was almost killed before when she was witness to a murder about to take place. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. What you did was very brave, young girl, so then what happened next? Just then there was another flash of lightning, that's when I saw the Blue Badger. Are you sure about this? Of course, see, I even drew a picture of him here. But it was the chief of detectives who thought up this horrendous beast. That was just this year. The Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling I'd seen him somewhere before. I'm so sick of seeing that stupid Blue Badger, dude. Just when you thought this thing had caused enough commotion. He wasn't in the room, I'm sure I saw his shadow. His shadow? You mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile? That's right, but I still remember it had 3 creepy limbs. This is pointless. The thing that couldn't have possibly existed. The witch was mistaken. That may well be, but she said she's not. Well, what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation. Please tell us what the shadow really was. What was it Emma saw when... I might know. She said she saw its shadow. Alright. There was indeed something that looks similar to the Blue Badge. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Oh boy. Is it Gant? It doesn't even look like it.
Take that!
Really? Really? I mean, I suspected, but really? It doesn't look anything like the Blue Badger. Indeed, it doesn't. Just as it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Oh my god. Look at that.
Take that! Objection!
That's the right angle. That was right. That's right. That looks like it there, right?
Take that!
What do you mean? It looks exactly like it. What are you talking about? Like that? Like, what am I doing here? Alright. What am I doing wrong? I know what I'm doing, but like... Is it like that?
Take that! Objection!
I don't know what they want me to make it look like here, man. It looks exactly like... What are they talking about, man? that.
Objection!
What am I doing wrong here? I've had like 5 different angles that looks exactly like how it... This stupid blue badger is causing me so many problems.
Take that! Objection!
Oh my god. How do you want me to do... I know this is it. What am I doing wrong? That's literally what I did. Look! I'm watching a video right now on how you're supposed to do it. That's literally what I did. I did that exact angle. Why are they making me... Is this what you want? Like...
Take that! Objection!
What do you mean? I did that! I'm doing it exactly how it looks! What are you talking about? It's like that? What do you want? Am I going insane?
Take that!
What do you mean? Okay, I'm gonna do exactly how the video has it set up, alright? It's like that. And then they rotate it. Alright? I'm gonna get it exactly how the video does it. And if it's still wrong, I'm going to throw this switch at the wall. Alright. There. This is literally... I am following the exact lines, literally the squares on the graph. I am doing it exactly how the video has it. So if this is still wrong, I'm going to scream. There we go. Okay, that's annoying. What was that? Oh my god, that's so annoying. I had it right. But it wasn't accepting my thinking. Oh my god.
Objection!
Although we enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that badger thing was actually just a joke. That doesn't change it.
Objection!
I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed, very well then, please tell us what's different now that we know the witnesses the jar, the murder weapon. At the moment the murder witness saw this jar, at a very specific angle. Well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? On the floor?
Objection!
On the floor.
Objection!
Yes, and it was these 2 facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Drake and Marshall did not take place in Lana Skye's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office.
Objection!
Are you implying that the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Skye's office? Yes, why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there was a reason, he wouldn't have gone through trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what the reason was, Mr. Wright? I don't know, do I? I finally figured it out. Well, good for you, Phoenix, but I still haven't. This is why Lana tried to stop the trouble. Here we go. Here we go. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. What could have sent the jar flying? The impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the jar the shelf was sitting on, what would he have hit? The pointy thing. Ah, the suit of armor holding a very sharp and dangerous looking... That's not a sword, that's a halberd, that's a spear thing. It had been Neo Marshall wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. Now, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking, yes, there's another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless... I don't know if I can go through this. In that moment, assuming the man Ema Skye knocked away was actually Neo Marshall... That's a sad way to go, isn't it? Yeah. Silence. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? That's sad. No. She just passed out. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this, so it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. It was an accident, though. Haste. What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? She's nervous. She looks nervous. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did. I mean, it was an accident. It wasn't her fault. Why are we acting like she did that on purpose? I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neo Marshall? Why does she keep turning around? Why does she do this? Why does she do this to us? Touché, Miss Skye. Of course, it only leaves us with one possibility. What do you mean? I mean, the possibility that the victim has left us a message. Better or worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one manner or another. That's impossible. A message from the deceased. It's that thing. In the jar. It's in the evidence. It's in the evidence. It's in the evidence. Will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? I will stop at nothing for justice, lady. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There's only one thing we seek. The truth. There it is. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Miss Wright. Please show us a piece of evidence. Alright. It's the jar. Right? It had to have been the jar, right? Yeah. Is he just going to speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. It looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. The message was left here on the surface of the jar. If you look closely, there's a faint trail of blood on this jar. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments is not wiped away. There's a line here, John. What line are you just talking about that giant line? Because, yeah, that's a line. Dots were once lines. Oh, we could use the luminol test. No, 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 no. There's only one thing the victim would have been given the circumstances, his murderer's name. Oh boy. Yo, look, it looks like a D! Bro, guys, it looks like a D! Wait. Oh, it's Gant. Right? It's Gant. No? Emma! Look at that.
Take that!
It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why I've been thinking about saving Anna. After all my efforts, I never thought it'd turn out like this. Boom. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. That's crazy. Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Ema Skye. That is sad. dead. That's sad. See, Worthy, can't say I didn't warn you. This villain over here. Chief Gant, do you understand the implications of what you've done? 2 years ago, Joe Dog was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Ack, yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction.
Objection!
But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer, that's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. You're trying to pin this on Edgeworth, dude? Come on, man. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might send an innocent man to his death. Oh boy. The gavels pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. To be continued? That's crazy. We're going to finish this tonight. We still got like a bit more, I'm pretty sure. But we're going to finish this tonight. Today. This morning. It's like 3:46 a.m. now. But we're finishing this today.